So, tonight we're going to be making some taco meat or Mexican flavored ground beef. Since we're using 93% beef with 7% fat, we want to spray our pan a little bit before adding in our meat, and then we'll put our meat in there, add our seasonings on top, and then we will go ahead and get started. So, seasonings tonight, doing liquid smoke mesquite flavored, some lime juice, some mac root lime sea salt, ancho chilies, chimeo, trio, there's a recipe for that in the first video, oregano, dried chives, and some cumin. And all of these amounts will be down in the description, so if you're not able to follow here, don't worry. And also some freshly ground pepper as well. And a noisy cat. So, I will hand my camera off to my assistant, and we will get started. First off with the spray in the pan. Now this particular meat we're only using half of because there's no reason for us to use all 4.5 pounds of meat. We only need like 2 1/4. So we're just splitting it right down the center. And we're kind of crumbling it up here a little bit as we're putting it in. Always wear gloves whenever handling raw meat. It's much safer this way, and you won't get raw meat under your fingernails. Alright, got a nice little layer here, ground beef. There we go. I'm going to change out gloves, wash my hands, and when I'll be back, we'll have to put in the seasonings, and I'll get this out of the way and clean up my area. So, be right back. Alright, so we got our beef in our pan, our area is all cleaned up, use bleach wipes to clean it up. So let's get to seasoning. I'm going to start off with some ground cumin. Don't want very much of that, but just enough to flavor. Some freshly ground pepper. I use a very fine grain, so not a lot comes out for when I'm doing my pepper here. So, a couple of drops of mesquite liquid smoke. Always shake the bottle before use. Don't need very much of that. A little bit goes a very long way. Now, most meat does have a decent amount of liquid with it. This one does not, so we're going to want to add some liquid. So we're going to just drizzle over a little bit of lime juice. If you stick your finger, a clean finger, in the hole, then not a lot of juice will come out, and it's a real good way of taking care of that issue. In my salt video, I had mac root lime sea salt, and it's a very wonderful salt with mac root lime in it, lime powder, and of course sea salt, giving us more of that lime flavor that we're looking for here. Trying to spice it up, going with a little bit of ancho chili. Don't need much of that. It does produce a nice spice to it. And for a smoky taste, we're going for chimeo. It also adds a little bit of spice as well. Again, don't need too much. Now you can add more if you like a stronger, more heat-induced meat. You can always add more of that if you want. Next up is trio. This adds our body to it all. And since there's onion and garlic and roasted onion, coriander, and paprika in there as well. Next up is oregano. I use dry oregano. You can use fresh if you want. dry just works better in my kitchen. And then last but not least is a little bit of chives. And you're looking for a little bit of greenery here. You don't need too much of that. There we go. So, what we're going to do is have our noisy cat interrupt us again. And give it a good stir. Kind of incorporate all that seasoning in there. And this is all before we're turning it on, mind you. Alternately, if you want, you could add your beef to a mixing bowl and season it there, and then add all of that to a sprayed pan if you're concerned about sticking, or just mixing in the pan itself. I do it this way. It's one less thing to worry about, cleaning, and I'm not too concerned with sticking because we still sprayed it. So I'm gonna throw away this spatula because it was used to stir up the meat, and I'm going for one that is clean so that when we finally need to stir the meat, we're stirring it with a clean spatula. So we'll be back when we are ready to start. And to make anything cook faster, put a general cover on it, or put a cover of aluminum foil on it, and that'll help cook it fast. Alright, so we have our meat cooking here. Kind of give it a stir. And put the cover back on so it will cook faster. And we'll let it keep going. Alright, let's check it one more time. And I'm checking it every 2 minutes or so. And we're just making sure that it's nice and small pieces and that there's no more pink left. And since we still have plenty of pink, we're going to keep cooking. At this point in time is when you want to start breaking up the meat into smaller pieces, because otherwise you get these huge chunks and that won't go really well with tacos or anything else that you're going for, burritos, that kind of thing. So we're going to keep cooking. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit here, because you notice that we're actually about 3/4 cooked and only a quarter left that's still pink. So we're going to throw the cover back on and we're going to let it keep going. Alright, we are nearly all cooked there. Yeah, we do have a little bit of pink left, but it is mostly cooked. So, in order not to dry out our meat, which can happen at this point in time, we are going to break it up into the smallest chunks we can. And then we're going to turn it down just a little bit more. And don't worry about all this liquid. We actually added this liquid so that we cannot dry out our meat. So we're going to put that cover back on. And we're going to turn it down to about medium-low. We're going to keep going. Alright, we have it pretty much taken care of here. Maybe a tiny little bit of pink here or there, but it is ground beef. And as long as the juices are clear, we are good. So, I call this done. All the juice is not fat. We have a very lean meat. All the juice is whatever we added to it, so all we need to do is serve. So, this has been Chef Aaron for cutting out the crap, and please like, share, comment, subscribe, and have a great night.